I think that a lot of people are really puzzled. Now, I watch all news channels, Fox, I watch CNN, I watch MSNBC, and a lot of people I see are puzzled. I mean, over that Fox, that Janine Pirro and Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, those people are off the chain. They're like a bunch of gangsters selling wolf tickets, They don't act like commentators or journalists, and I suppose they're entertainers. They're not necessarily journalists. Over there, Janine Pirro, she's in there. But they're selling wolf tickets over there. Tell Mitt Romney ought to be banished. Get the hell out the Republican Party. Janine Pirro. Mitt Romney need to get the hell out the Republican Party. What the, Lindsey Graham. What is wrong with Lindsey Graham? Anyway, but here's what's not being reported. And you're only going to hear this here, and then they have done a job on me to try to keep me from getting my word out. I don't trust nothing Facebook says or does with me. I put up an ad the other day, and they took it down. First they put it up, then they took it down. I don't trust nothing Facebook or YouTube since YouTube took away my channel, and Facebook has been on my case. I don't trust what none of these people say or report about me. I just send the word out. But they don't want, you need to know, I raised the question the other day, did God, his name is Jesus, give the deed to the plantation, America, to the former plantation workers, Hamite brothers and sisters? And that's the question. Did God give the deed? I mean, and the issue is this, they do discuss it, but they do it in a way that's intellectual. And what's the other word I'm looking for? The way they do it in such a way as an interrogative, but they don't really come down Main Street so people can understand it. They don't put it down where you can get it. They talk in circles, but what they're doing is they're talking about whether or not the Hamite people will be running America shortly. By that I mean they figure the next 20 years, there'll be more Hamite people in terms of the voting numerical numbers, even though you may look at the way the electoral college works now for the president, and then of course you got the East Coast, West Coast, where you got a lot of Hamite people. Then in the middle of the nation and in the South, you got a lot of Japheth people, and right now it's just about even. There's still, the Hamites have a little bit of an advantage over the Japheth people in the Midwest and in the South. But 10 years from now, because the Japheth people aren't having babies anymore, and the Hamite people are having more, and the reason why Trump is against the Mexicans, mainly because he just don't like them. He just don't like them. I don't know if Trump ever had a Mexican girlfriend. He did have Amarosa, but I don't know what that was about. I don't know whether she was his cocaine supplier or what, and helped them shoot up. I don't know what she did. But Trump ain't never had no Mexican girlfriend. He ain't gonna go that. He don't go that way. He like blondes and everything. But the thing of it is that the Mexicans which are part of Hamites and the former plantation owners are going to be more numerical. So if it's a one man, one vote situation, the Hamite people will outvote the Japheth people in 10 years, 2-1. And what will probably happen is that we'll have what is a sort of a parliamentary America at that point. Well, I don't think we're going to get that far, but by parliamentary America, I mean that the party that wins, let's say, for instance, what we have now, we have in the democratic process, we have the Republicans are running the Senate, right? And we have the Democrats running the House of Representatives. Well, and we have a Republican, or alleged Republican, he says he's a Republican, he's a misfit, he's a pathological degenerate. Tribulation Trump allegedly is a Republican in the White House. But here's what happened in the parliamentary situation, that if the person who wins the presidency, then all of the various boards of government, whether it be senator, governor, dog catcher, that particular party rules, whether you got the most people in your party. So, for instance, with Tribulation Trump being a Republican, being president, right now, whoever is the second, and I think it's Kevin McCarthy, would automatically become the Speaker of the House, even though there are more Democrats in the House than there are Republicans. That's how the Parliament works. System. In case you didn't know that, I thought I'd tell you. But the big question is, and what people aren't doing and paying attention to, mainly because it's embarrassing, and it's to some degree racist, and that is to say that God is turning the deed to America, the old plantation, over to the former plantation workers. And that's what's happening. This happened once before, over in Egypt, if y'all remember, that Pharaoh looked around one day and he looked over there in Goshen and he saw there were more Jews and Jewish men, boys, than there were Egyptians. So Pharaoh said, wait, we got to do something about this. Because over there in Egypt, during the time of Moses' birth, went over there and Pharaoh said, we got to do something about this. We got to kill all the Jewish babies, boys that are born, because in a few years from now, there'll be more Jewish men than there'll be Egyptian men. And when you got more Jewish men than you got Egyptian men, they can just take over the whole government, and the Jews will be running Egypt, and they're going to take me off the throne. So Pharaoh concocted a plan to pay the midwives to kill all Jewish babies. You know that story, right? And so but Moses' mother hid him in the Nile River. But the Pharaoh killed a whole lot of Jewish boys because he was afraid that there were going to be more Jews than there were Egyptians. And that's what's happening in America right now. And somebody needs to stand up and tell it. Listen, these Japheth people are afraid there are going to be more Negroes, Hamite people in America in the next 2 or 3 years, and Mexicans and Muslims combined. And when they all put their voting strength together, it's going to be more of them than there are Japheth people. And at that point, they're going to be running the company store. And that's all that's going on in America. That's the only reason why the senators don't care about the Constitution no more. The Constitution does not favor them. I think one of the best telltale signs, if you listen to somebody like me, and I know the truth, I only tell you the truth, one of the best telltale signs is for years. I mean, it wasn't until the 13th and the 14th Amendment to the Constitution that the Hamite brother even he could lay siege on the Constitution, even though the preamble to the Constitution that every man had the right to the pursuit of liberty, happiness, and whatever else it says. But the Hamite brother didn't have that. They had to actually write a rule. They had to amend the Constitution to give the Hamite brother in the 13th and 14th Amendment to the Constitution for him the right to be able to be considered a citizen. They didn't give him boy the right to vote until about 30 years ago. So the Constitution didn't mean nothing to the Hamite brother. Now, the Japheth brother looking around, and everybody's running, well, don't these men know the Constitution requires them to impeach Trump? Don't they know that Trump has abused his constitutional power? Don't they know that Trump has colluded with foreign powers, going back as far as Russia with the Mueller report in the 2016 election? Don't they know that Trump has violated the Constitution? Don't they know that? Yeah, they know it. But the Constitution does not favor Japheth people anymore. The Constitution is not on the Japheth man's side anymore, because the Constitution essentially says one man, one vote. And right now, there are more men that are Hamite men than there are Japheth men. And therefore, that's why they're running away from the Constitution. That's why they're running away from it. It's not that they don't know it. You think Mr. McConnell and all of them, Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski and Lindsey Graham and John Thune and you think they don't know what Trump is a liar, a cheat, a pathological degenerate, an abuser of his presidential power? You think they don't know that? You done lost your mind. No, it appears that God, his name is Jesus, has given the Constitution powers in mass to the Hamite people. And that's what the fight's all about. Now, here's the deal. Well, can they somehow or another subvert? Can they somehow or another? And they all are getting together. And I was teaching the other day about how, a lot of people are saying, well, the independents and some, if the independents and the Hamites get together, along with the Democrats, they can still vote Trump out of office. I'm not so sure about that. He's going to go. He's going to go by way of suicide the way Hitler did. But my thing is this, is that what we need to understand is that a lot of people who are Democrats are going to vote for Trump. They say they're Democrats, but they're going to vote for Trump. And a lot of independents that are Japheth Democrats and Japheth independents, they're going to vote for Trump. They're going to secretly say it. They're going to secretly vote for Trump because they don't want to see the Hamite brothers running the plantation. They don't want to see that. And so so Trump has a great potential of getting back into power again as a result of that. But hey, that's a whole nother way of looking at this matter. But and then the other thing is this, is that the Democrats right now look like they're shooting themselves in the foot. They got this guy Buttigieg. You know, everybody say he's the new Obama. Well, they write about a couple things about Obama was a sodomite, but he was a secret sodomite, right? He was they used to have a thing that was very admirable for gay people in the closet. And they say this Buttigieg boy is the new Obama. Well, I mean, maybe so. Where's he come from? South Bend, Indiana? South Bend, that ain't too far from Illinois, where Obama comes from. Young, right? And articulate, if that's what you say, what he does. I don't necessarily agree with that, but at any rate, that's what everybody says. And that it's either him or wow man, Bernie Sanders. Now, Bernie Sanders is a wild man. He's nearly 80 years old. And he got a lot of things that a lot of people, even the Democrats, don't want to go for. Complete health care as a right, not as a privilege. And do away with all student loans. I raised my hand on that one. And a whole lot of stuff that he's taking money, wealth tax, taking money from the rich. That 1% of the American population right now, rich people making up 1%, got more money in their bank accounts than 50% of the lower end of the American population. That's an outrage. And the rich are getting richer under Trump. The rich are getting rich. And by the way, the Japheth boys down in Mississippi know that they're not doing better. They may be doing a little bit better, but they know the rich are getting filthy rich, but they still would rather let Trump make the wealthy people rich, make Goldman Sachs and Wall Street rich, than turn it over to Al Sharpton. And that's the choice. So really, in a large sense, what's been talked about in the boardroom with the Koch brothers and Sheldon Adelson out there in Las Vegas, is that if you don't put Trump in office, Al Sharpton gonna be your president. Now, what you want? And the Democrats are saying, we don't want Sharpton either as our president. And so that's what we got going on in America now. And until that, people began to discuss that and talk about it, that potentially that the plantation is gonna be run by former plantation workers. Now, there's another thing that's not being discussed, and they probably won't discuss this either, is that we're in what is known as the tribulation. The tribulation is, in terms of its full definition, God, his name is Jesus, destructive machine against planet Earth. You say, that don't make no sense. God doesn't destroy things. See, that's your problem. That's your problem. Just shut up and listen. If you read in the book of Gospel of Matthew, chapter 24, Jesus outlines the fact, first of all, they're going to tear down the Jewish temple. That's gone. That's got to go. It said, I'm going to tear it down. There won't be one stone left upon another. And that happened back, by the way, in 70 A.D. That was about 1,900 years ago, 1,950 years ago, I think it was. And then he said there are going to be wars and rumors of wars, famines, pestilence, and all kinds of diseases, and he's going to kill everybody on planet Earth except for a group of people called the elect. Now, you're not going to hear this preached in the churches. You're not going to hear it in Brooklyn Tabernacle. You're not going to hear Joel Osteen and these liars and snake oil salesmen preach that kind of a sermon. But it's there in the Bible. It's there. And there's a reason for it. Humanity is really now, this world is Satan's kingdom. If you look at John's Gospel, chapter 18, verse 36, Jesus said, this is Satan's kingdom. This is not his kingdom. His kingdom is coming. That's why we pray, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. But it ain't happening yet. This is Satan's kingdom, and he rewards people like Wall Street. He rewards people like Tribulation Trump. He rewards people like Barack Hussein, the long-legged Mac Daddy Obama. He rewards, this is his kingdom. He rewards people like Joel Osteen. This is his kingdom. This is not God's kingdom. Now his kingdom is coming. His kingdom is coming. And he says in Matthew's Gospel, chapter 16, verse 28, there's some standing here that shall not taste of death until they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. And then in Revelation, chapter 21, verse 1, he said there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth. But right now, the tribulation is set in order. And the devil's doing everything he can to try to stop it from actually, manifesting itself in a full way. And the way that the devil has done, I've watched this the other day, what Trump has done is that he has aligned himself with people like Kim Jong-un, Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, Erdogan over there in Turkey, and a lot of other people. He has aligned himself with these people to try to stop the wars and the rumors of wars, but they're going to happen. So I think it's very important that we understand that you're not hearing this in the media. You're not being told. And you don't know how to protect yourself. You don't know how to protect yourself. And I can tell you this, I used to run with the Tea Party. I know them inside and out. I know them like I know the backside of my hand. And I know these J5 people. I can tell you this right now. They know that Trump is a pathological degenerate. They know he's a liar. They know he's a con man. They know it. But they'd rather have Trump as a degenerate, uncouth, unfit, brute, coarse, ignorant person in the White House pulling the levers of government than Al Sharpton or Pete Buttigieg, for that matter, or Bernie Sanders. So that's the choice. That's what this is not about a democracy anymore. Forget about that. You sit there in the television, you're watching the court, you're watching, Adam Schiff and all that crowd dealing with tribulation Trump. If you expected, I think perhaps the Hamite people had the best perspective on that. They knew they weren't going to convict Trump. I mean, you ask a Hamite person anywhere, unless you ask one of these stupid ones like Diamond and Silk, or these stupid ones like, ask a Hamite person while that trial is going on. Is Trump ever going to be held guilty? They'll tell you no. Well, say, how you know? You say, because it ain't no justice in America. The court, the courts don't put J5 people in jail. The judge don't put, the judge ain't gonna put no J5 president in jail. What's wrong with you? You lost your mind. He broke the law. I said, you still don't lost your mind. I don't care what he broke. He can break the law and break law's grandmama. There ain't no J5 man going to jail. You don't put him out of the White House. What's wrong with you? What are you thinking that? But so the Hamite brother knows that. And I'm sitting there, I'm watching all this stuff, having some soup while I'm watching and a glass of ginger ale. I'm watching these people. This is funny. And then here come this little twit named Susan Collins. Why does she talk like that? Pastor Manny said, Pastor Manny, you need to clean up your act a little bit. Well, maybe so, but not too much. Because here's what I want to say. Because I say things about people, I talk about people. I call people names. I do. I admit it. But I'm not the only one. Jesus did. John the Baptizer was worse than me. Don't talk about Elijah and Jeremiah. They're worse than I. But Susan Collins, she looks like she got a Hamite nose. You ever see her? Look at that woman's nose. Look at that. She got a nose to be either a Hamite or a Shemite. That's a Jew. Look at that. And then she talks like she's got Parkinson or something, right? I'm not gonna go there. That's her. But at any rate, she was trying to straddle the fence and everything. But I was sitting there watching this, and this woman, she's just a liar from way back when. And they're not going to send Trump to jail. They're not going to put him out of office. They're not going to do that, because if they do that, the former plantation workers are going to be running the plantation. And J5 people just aren't ready for that yet. They just aren't ready for it. This is a bit of a news blog we do, looking at spiritual wickedness in high places for the most part, making some observations about it and giving people a biblical foundation to the way of interpreting, rather than have Sean Hannity or Laura Ingraham or Janine Pirro or Anderson Cooper or Rachel Maddow or Don Lemon Rush Limbaugh interpret what's going on in the world. You come to me and I'll tell you based on what the Word of God says. They'll just give you their worldly, sinful view. But the Manning Report will tell you what God has said, whether to say yea or nay, whether to go or to stay. You'll be led by the word of Almighty God. Come to the Manning Report on a daily basis to interpret the spiritual wickedness in high places, because there's plenty of it that's going on. And so I'm the Lord's servant, James David Righteous Rebel Manning, and I'm here to serve you with news and information.